What is going on, everybody? My name is Dakota, and welcome back to Dakota's Colognes. Today, we're going to be looking at and reviewing one of my personal favorites. It is going to be Prada Black. Now, when it comes to the Prada Luna Rossa line, this is my all-time favorite from the Luna Rossa line. To me, this is their most complete, maybe most different. So, and for that reason today, that is why we're going to be looking at it and getting into it. Alrighty, so for today's scent of the day, we went with Prada Black. So first thing I'm going to do is show off that. And the atomizer on this is decent. It's not amazing. The burst is a little bit weak, like it doesn't have a big projection on it, but that's okay because it doesn't have to be, because you're not shooting this all the way across the room. But still, the presentation, to me, the presentation as a whole is awesome. Now, they normally come with like a plastic little cap. I lost that somewhere some time ago. But yeah, as a whole presentation, I really like this. It's clean, it's simple. All right, so we're gonna do there on the wrist. When you first spray this, when it first comes out of the bottle, this has such a warm, sweet powderiness to it. Like the moment you spray it, you get hit with a beautiful blend of like a sweet powdery with like a little bit of amber, and that's like the moment you spray it. And the thing I love the most about that is that I'm pretty sure that's exactly what this fragrance is supposed to be. This may be one of the few fragrances that you could say you can wear year round as a do-it-all fragrance. Now, it's a little bit too sweet. This would be a little bit much for summer. You know, I'm in southeast Oklahoma, so for us, the summer gets blazing hot. With all the humidity that we have, it's hard to wear almost any fragrance in the summer, actually. But if you had to pick one that could be a do-it-all year round, if you're someone who only had to have one fragrance, one or two, maybe three fragrances in your entire collection, this could be one that can be worn at any given time. Doesn't matter the situation. Doesn't matter if it's a date. Doesn't matter if you're going into the office. Potentially, maybe even a signature scent. This can be one that will do it. So as this is drying down on my arm, I'm going to go ahead and show off this bottle a little bit here. We'll get it on a little turntable. We'll get into the notes. Alrighty. So for how beautiful this fragrance is, the notes aren't very extensive on this. It's actually a rather short note breakdown, which I'm completely fine with, because if you can pull off a fragrance and make it smell this beautiful with such few amount of notes, you are one hell of a creator. So the top notes on this one is just bergamot. It's a rather short, like I said, it's a short breakdown, but it smells so beautiful. The middle notes on this are angelica and patchouli, with the base notes drying all the way down to a coumarin and amber and musk. And that's all the notes. That wraps up the entire thing on this. So it's crazy how beautifully blended this feels and how complete of a scent this is for not really having that much in it. Since it's a short note breakdown, I'm gonna go ahead and make this section of it short too. Let me flip y'all back around and we'll get back into it. Alrighty, and we are back. Now, I had to do a little bit of running around. I actually went to town for about an hour and came back. So this has a little bit more of a dry down time than I normally give it. So the more this dries down, to me, the more this gets it's a warm, sweet, powdery. So when you first spray it, it's a little more intense. As it dries down, the scent softens up a little bit, but the profile doesn't do a whole lot of changing. And for how amazing this is blended, the moment you spray it, it smells so good that it doesn't really need to change. Like when you first spray this, it smells like a finished product, and it smells like it's already been dried down. So as this dries down, it keeps a lot of the performance, it keeps a lot of projection, but it's just a little softer. It's just a little bit sweeter. Some of the powderiness mixed with some of that vanilla, to me, makes this a beautiful fragrance. All right, so we're gonna get into the pricing and availability of this. Pricing wise, Prada is one of the few fragrances that discounters don't really discount, and I'm not really sure why. I know some of them do that. They claim that the quality is so high anyway that apparently even at a discounted rate, that's as much as they could beat it down. So retail on this is going to be about, for the 100 mil, which is what this one is, this is going to be about $130 to $140 depending on your site. Discounters, as of right now, the cheapest discounters I found this at was 110, and I will link that in the description below. That way, if anybody wants to pick this up, they should be able to pick this up. So even on discounters, it saves you about 20 bucks. You know, and anywhere, anytime you can save money, obviously I do that. But we're gonna hop over into the performance side of this. And for what this is a rock solid performer. This performs exactly how it should for the price you can get it at. On my skin, this has anywhere between a 7 to 10 hour lasting range, which, you know, anytime you eclipse that 7 to 8 hour range, that's pretty well an all-day fragrance. There's a lot of times to where if you wear this to work, it's going to last your whole work schedule. If you get off work and you decide you want to do something after work and then you spray this, it's going to last you till you go to bed. And that's the beauty of having a fragrance like this, is it'll last a good long while. And if you spray this on your clothes, which I'm not one, I'm not a big one to spray on my clothes. I personally don't like that. But if you're one that does spray on your clothes, you could get 13, maybe even 14 hours out of this with about that 6 to 8 spray range. The sillage on this is very good. The sillage is 2 to 3 foot. For how a lot of scents that have like a powdery nature tend to not be big projectors and tend to not have like a big sillage. This one is an exception to that rule. For how powdery this is, it's some of that sweetness and amberiness that comes through, some of that coumarin maybe. What that does is that helps allow this to just pump and pump, and surprisingly for how powdery sweet this is, it does an amazing job. Even the projection on this is very good. The projection's in the 2 to 3 foot range on this. And again, that's awesome for what this is. And this isn't from based on right now, but just from my experience wearing this, the deep dry down, this kind of morphs into like a woody vanilla type of fragrance. And like I said, it's not a big change, it's a subtle change, because when you first spray this, you get a lot of powderiness, you get a lot of that vanilla, but you don't get a lot of the woodiness. You get a lot of ambery, you get a lot of that ambery smell. But this is just fresh enough, it's just light enough that even all the way through that, you should be able to wear this anytime, any day, honestly. And the beauty about Prada is, you know, this is a quality fragrance. You know that quality stuff went into this. It's a premium blend. Everything about this just smells wonderful. So if I were to rate this fragrance right now, this is a handful in my collection that I will give a 10 out of 10. There's nothing I would change about this. The way this is blended, the projection, the longevity, everything about it. It's a very soft hitting fragrance. It doesn't just overwhelm your senses. This is a beautifully sweet, powdery fragrance with just a little touch of woods at the base of it. So yeah, all in all, I would say if you wanted to wear this, I would categorize this as a fall or winter fragrance. For me personally, you could get away with both of those. But as I mentioned, you can honestly wear this all 4 seasons, and I don't think anybody would really complain about it. But yeah, so for those reasons, this is one of the few. I say one of the few. I've got about 10 or 12 in my collection that I would, honest to God, call true 10s that I would not change a single thing on. This is one of them. So yeah, I think that is going to go ahead and wrap us up. That is going to get us pushed to the end of this. Going to go ahead and show off this bottle one more time. And again, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for subscribing, liking the videos, comments. I love when people comment. I love responding back and stuff like that. But yeah, so that is going to go ahead and wrap us up. And as always, we'll see you next time.